It's the weekend!
Warriors! Warriors! Come up to play!
Yeah! Here we go!
Good Saturday morning, everybody. We're broadcasting live from the Harman Solar Studios in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm Ralph Romano, alongside my partner in crime, the legend, Neil Lynch, and we are the Weekend Warriors.
I'm back. Hey,
Yes,
if you want to get involved in the show, we have the text line open for both of you who are listening to the show. 888-368-1580 is that number.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
If you want to text to get involved, yeah, my mom and dad aren't here anymore, so I can't say that. I'm like Batman.
They could be
I'm
watching
orphan.
from above or below.
Yeah, but can they text in, though? 888-368-1580
Never been there, don't know.
to be involved. And Ralph may actually read the text today.
No. Ring.
That's
No.
right. Exactly.
That's my text line.
So, so Ralph, I'm going back into puberty again. I'm talking like this. So it was with great sadness,
Yes.
of course, that we
Yes.
all learned about the passing of the logo of the NBA, Mr. Jerry West.
Our beloved Jerry West.
Yes.
Who we have so much appreciation for. He did so much for Laker Nation and really for basketball. But we don't care about basketball. We care about Laker Nation.
You care about Laker Nation. I opted out of Laker Nation in the early 90s. So.
Well, that's your problem.
Well, I know. But, by the way, did you ever watch any of that HBO series Winning Time?
I did. I watched the whole thing.
First of all, I loved it. I know that they took a lot of liberty with stuff, and one of the points of contention was how they portrayed Jerry West.
They did a very poor job, and I don't know why. It's Jerry West, the way they portrayed him, and also even Chick Hearn. They portrayed.
Oh yeah,
they portrayed
they
him
did
wrong.
him. They did him dirty.
Yeah, I'm
in
not
that
sure what
show.
the deal was there, but that's not. So let's talk about Jerry West real quick.
Yeah.
And I did watch that show, and it was interesting. But anyway,
Yes.
Jerry West as a player, right? 14-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA. He won the NBA Finals MVP for a losing team in 1969, which is just kind of crazy.
Yeah,
to
that
think
is
about.
crazy.
But he averaged 37.9 points, 7
Wasn't that-
assists in that series.
Wasn't that Bill Russell's last game with the
I think so.
Celtics
Yeah, I
in
think so.
'69?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I saw a documentary on the whole Johnson Bird evolution,
Mm-hmm.
and they spent a lot of time talking about Jerry West because obviously he was responsible for a lot of that. But they talked about the futility of the Lakers. They could not beat the Celtics for
No.
anything.
No.
Couldn't beat them at all.
They lost 8 times to them. I
And
think.
then something they had portrayed on the show, which turned out to be based in real life, is the fact that Jerry West was kind of disappointed when they did win the finals, but it wasn't against the Celtics. Because, it was kind of like, well,
I can see that.
This is great, but I really wanted to beat the Celtics.
Yeah, and I get right. I would totally understand. It's like when the Lakers finally did beat the Celtics in the 80s. Remember they did it in Boston?
Yes.
Do you remember how that gratification that Jerry West had? It was like he was vindicated then,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
It made him feel better.
Exercise the demons.
But a couple other things, right? So he was champion in 72, 5-time all-defensive player, scoring champ, all this stuff. Was a great player, and the logo.
right.
So-
But that was only half his career, though.
I was only half his career, and we'll get into the logo in a second, but as a front office guy,
Yes.
there was nobody that could just see talent the way this guy did.
Yes.
It was amazing if you think about what he did with the Lakers in the 80s, right? He won 5 rings with the Lakers in the 80s during the whole Showtime thing. In the 2000s, when he made that trade for Kobe Bryant, Charlotte, how stupid was that, right? They gave
Yes.
him Vlade Divac for Kobe. And I remember I listened to him tell a story about he had Michael Cooper come and do a private workout with Kobe when he was 17. And he said about 10, 15 minutes in, Michael Cooper looked so terrible that he actually had to stop the workout. He said, "Mike, I love you." He said, "I'm glad you retired. This kid's making you look sick." He said, "We're done." So
Oh, my goodness.
Kobe was that good. And he also said
Yeah.
there was another thing where there was a scrimmage with Kobe and these other guys, these all pro players, and Kobe was making them all look terrible. And he was 17 years old. So he knew what he was getting with him, right? So he did that with Kobe. He helped the Grizzlies actually make the playoffs 3 times as general manager in the mid-2000s, which the Grizzlies really.
Right, the Grizzlies, exactly.
Right. And he even was part of the Golden State Warriors in 2011 where he helped put that dynasty together. I mean, this guy just knew. He knew players.
Yeah.
Right? He made the comment, he goes, the one thing you never do to a player is lie to him. Always be honest with players. You'll have their respect. He goes, you'll be able to work with them in a better way. And he never lied to a player. He said, not one time in my life did I ever lie to a player.
So the Arizona Cardinals head coach should have probably learned that.
Excuse me.
Because he kind of lied to Josh Dobbs. Yeah, we're going to keep you around next day. Hey, you're going to Minnesota.
So, yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, no.
Let's talk logo. So I'm going to play, it's like a 30-second clip. Somebody asked him about being the logo.
Yep.
Right, so here's the clip.
To me, as I say, I played in the time when they first started to try to market the league. There were 5 people that they were going to consider. I didn't find out about it until, well, the late commissioner told me about it, Walter Kennedy. And then, obviously, the New York Times had a big article about it. But, again, it's flattering, but I don't like to do anything to call attention myself. When people say that, that's just not who I am, period. Wow. And if they would want to change it, I wish they would. In many ways, I wish they would.
So he doesn't even want to be the logo. He was embarrassed by it in a sense. He said, yeah, it's great. It's an honor and all that. He goes, I never made any money off it. He talked about that in the interview because I never made any money. I wish I would have made money off it. I would have given it to inner cities to develop basketball programs because I wish that would have happened. He goes, but the fact that they used my image as a logo, yeah, thank you. It was great. I wish to change it. He's too humble of a man to even deal with that. He didn't want what came with it. Because he gets asked about it all the time, and he said he hated being asked about it.
Yeah, no, that's him from his humble upbringings.
Which is the exact opposite of if you watch Showtime and what they portrayed this guy as.
Oh, he was neurotic and angry and constantly throwing things and doubting himself all the time.
And I think
but you know what's funny is I just thought of this just now. That's the way people in Hollywood view humility. Like I just thought of it now. Like that's true. They were basically mocking something they don't understand.
True.
And it's so different than I don't know, almost every single athlete in every single professional league these days. So yeah, it's refreshing and it's sad. It's passing of an era.
I think superstars, like for instance, Magic Johnson was a coach for a period of time.
Yes, not a very good one either.
Right. Jerry West was a coach for a period of time. He was okay.
Much better GM.
And I think the one thing, and guys like that, even like Kobe, I think you struggle with being a coach because you have an expectation of them to be like you. In other words, your work ethic, the things you demand that you put on yourself and how easy things came to you in a sense.
Correct.
And you expect everyone to be that way. Like I do that in my life and my work. Like I expect everyone to understand the things that I understand, and when they don't, it's frustrating. Right? Because I look at it and go, this isn't brain surgery. This is easy. Are you just stupid or what? I don't say that out loud, but I say it.
Work for Harmon Solar. Just remember that next time.
I say that in my head, right? And I think we all do that, right?
You say it out loud, Ralph. Come on.
Okay. So
no, but it's true though, and that's that we could have a whole conversation on this topic, which I believe strongly is that the best coaches were not necessarily the best players. There's only a few great players who translated into great coaches.
Right.
I think the jury's still out on, for example, Deion Sanders. Although obviously what he did at Jackson State was magnificent.
Yeah.
And he earned his way to get that job at Colorado. But like Magic Johnson was a coach, didn't do very well. Isaiah
Larry
Thomas
Bird
was
too, wasn't he?
Well, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
The one coach, the one pro at least in the NBA that I thought did a pretty good job as a coach was Larry Bird. He's an exception to the rule.
Did you see how they portrayed him in Showtime?
Oh, well, you know what, though? But that's what he's mostly like. Like, I've been watching a lot of clips lately on shows.
To me, as I say,
sorry.
Jerry had
Done, Jerry. Go ahead.
Listen, well, my favorite tweet, Larry Bird is legend, doesn't matter. The funniest tweet that I saw, and listen, it's kind of dark humor, but, I laughed so hard. And I think that even Jerry West himself would probably begrudgingly approve of the tweet. Someone said, because, as you know, the finals are going on, and it looks like, at least until last night, it looked like the Celtics were going to sweep.
We'll talk about that in a second.
So he said, the tweet said, this man, Jerry West, would rather die than watch the Celtics win another championship. I thought, oh, my God. At first you're like, oh, that's so in poor taste, but that's actually true.
It's actually true.
Yeah. So
not that he died because of that, but I think that he would tell you I'd rather die than watch.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny. But yeah. So anyway, rest in peace, Jerry West.
Jerry West. We loved you. We appreciate everything you did for basketball, especially as Laker fans. What you did for our organization,
yes.
as a GM, as a player, finding the talent you did for us. You were an amazing, amazing person. So rest in peace, and I know you're watching.
So speaking of the finals,
Yes.
it looks like last night I was fully expecting that the Celtics were going to sweep.
No.
To the point where I put money on it. Guess what happened?
Did you really?
I
Put money on. Oh my gosh! Come on, dude. You're down 3-0. You know the Mavs are going to win one game.
listen.
One game.
Well, this is how little I understand the NBA these days. Is I just said I'll put my whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact is, the Mavericks they didn't just beat them; they destroyed them. The final score was some ridiculous. Was it 122 to 84?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Wasn't that like the third largest victory in NBA history?
I think so. I was kind of eyeing the game. I was out and about last night, and I was kind of eyeing the game on TVs. And at no point in time were the Mavs not in control of that game last night. It was unbelievable. So
can they win another one?
you're asking the wrong person.
Of what you say.
Okay, I think the Celtics are close. They're gonna finally finish the deal in the next game.
All right, I'm calling Luigi, and I'm betting on the Mavs next game.
Hey, Luigi, I got some money on us. So
I think the Mavs, it's interesting. No team has ever come back from 3-0. Do I think they'll come back from 3-0? I do not. Do I think they can come back and make it interesting? I really think they can.
it would be interesting to get to a game 7 out of
Because
that.
I feel like they were even starting to disbelieve things when they got down 0-3. They're better than that, right?
Yeah.
Well, the game before that, maybe if Luka doesn't foul out, they might win that game, right?
Right.
And now we're talking a 2-2 series. It's that, little things. Can they win the next game? I think they can. I think you win a game like this, it can give you the confidence to go into that next game. What do you have to lose? At this point, no one's expecting you to do anything. You're down 3-1. Just go all out and see what happens.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I think you never know. I think they could even take it, maybe win 3 in a row. Why not?
No,
Didn't the
I
Mavs do that in the playoffs this year? They were down
Yeah.
2-0. They won 4 in a row.
that is correct. They
So
did that.
It's not
yes.
impossible.
No, it's not. It's just incredibly difficult. Now, the other group that's having the same challenge, of course, is Edmonton. The Oilers are down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers.
And I don't get this. I don't. I like hockey. I'm a hockey guy. I watch hockey. I don't understand why Edmonton is down 3-0. You can sit there and say, well, it's because Florida's better, you idiot.
But
Edmonton's good.
I was going to say, yeah.
Edmonton's a really good team. Florida is playing outside their minds right now.
Mm-hmm.
They remind me of the 2012 Kings right now.
Yes.
That team just wasn't going to lose. I don't care what the situation was; they weren't going to lose.
So do you think Florida can close it out? That's tonight, 5:00 Mountain Standard Time.
I'm expecting Edmonton to win this game. They've got to win one. They're too good not to win one. That is such a talented group of players, and it just seems like they just haven't been able to put it together to get over that hump to win this thing. I feel for them. I really do. But I think they win this game and maybe even win another one. I think maybe it goes 6. I don't think they're going to come back and win the cup. But I'm really, really surprised that they're down 3-0. It's shocking to me.
Well, I think that with Edmonton, the difference is going to be that female fan that flashed everybody. Like that fan's, she's got to be on her game tonight, honestly, because that may be the difference of Edmonton winning and losing tonight.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
That was
it was interesting.
She said she didn't realize that people were recording it and taking pictures of it. And then some
What?
site offered her like $1 million to do a spread or something like that. And it's just stupidity, but whatever.
All right. So if that happened, let's say that
No. So let's say
let's say you mooned somebody at a game, and let's say
I didn't.
some like Lavender Magazine saw you and said, "I want to do a spread."
What's Lavender Magazine?
What do you think it is?
Dude, how do you know this?
Well, I lived in Minneapolis.
Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. If Lavender went to you and said, "Hey, we want to do a spread of your body because we like your butt for $1 million," what would you say?
No, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
Not for $1 million.
I have ethics and morals.
Motto has ethics and morals.
I couldn't do that. That's not who I am. Would you do it?
I would think about it seriously.
Community, if you did that, I mean, you're so
Well,
right.
here's the problem: that's the thing is I would blind them. That's what I would do. So after the break, I think we can finally start. I can't wait to talk about this whole this whole thing with Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And then we're going to talk about the NFL a little bit. I think.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. I've got a little twist on Joey Chestnut that people aren't looking at. So this is going to get. And I love the hot dog thing. I'm big on that. So we'll talk about that after the break. It's Weekend Warriors on 1580 The Fanatic. The Fanatic. I was about to say, what's that song? And then I go, oh, okay, I know that song.
Yeah.
All right.
Name that tune.
I don't want Keon yelling at me.
Oh, I know. Man, straight out of Compton. Oof.
So, the 4th of July, the hot dog eating contest, Nathan's hot dog eating contest. That's a waiting for Black Betty to go away. Okay. Bye, Black Betty. All right. So that contest is a big deal in our house. I've always watched it with my daughter and my kids, and me and my daughter, I've watched it for years together. I love that contest. I don't know if you've ever been into that or not. It reminds me of my mom, because my mom grew up in Staten Island.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So she was always around
makes
that area, and she would go there. So when I'd see it, I'd always think about my mom, who's passed away, years ago. But I always think about that, and I've always wanted to take my daughter and my kids out there one of these days to go watch that contest. Now, hopefully, that's on my bucket list. So that contest is a bucket list thing for me. So when I thought news of Joey Chestnut being banned, apparently.
Well, according to him,
right, that's why I said apparently.
he was the first one to report it. Apparently,
right. So it came out that he said that he was banned from the event by the MLE, Major League Eating.
Let's back up a second here,
Okay.
just a moment here, if you don't mind. Beep beep beep.
Okay.
You really watch this?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I understand the angle of it reminding you of back east, of home, Staten Island, the whole bit. I get
Right.
that, and I imagine if anybody grew up out there and went to it, it's like watching the Rose Parade on New Year's Day. If
It's
you grew
very
up,
much
if you
so.
grew up in Southern California,
Right.
It's very fond memories,
Right.
And then if you actually went to it live, you have less fond memories.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. I never did, by the way. So I guess I'm listening to you and I'm just stunned that people actually look for, like, this is an event.
It's an event, just like the Thanksgiving Day Parade, the Macy's Parade's an event.
Oh, but I can guarantee you that this eating is probably way better than the Macy's Thanksgiving
Do you
Parade.
remember the Hollywood Lane Parade for Christmas?
I remember the Hollywood Christmas Parade, yes.
That was an event.
Yeah, but
It's a cheesy little parade, but it's growing up in LA, it was a big deal, right? So one of the smaller things, not as big as the Rose Bowl, but Rose Parade, which was always a big deal, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
But this was, again, my mom grew up, and she was, from Brooklyn, but she hung out in Coney Island, Staten Island all that time. So she was always at this park over there. I guess it's Coney Island, and that's where they do the event. And she was big on Nathan's hot dogs. She introduced me to Nathan's hot dogs. and
oh,
all that.
interesting. Okay, so
So
there are
there's
some
a connection.
familial memories. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
moving on.
it's a family thing.
Okay, now I understand.
You better. And this is family, dude.
Oh boy.
I got a guy.
Yeah, you do.
I got a couple guys.
You know guys.
She met him.
You know guys who know guys. Yeah, I'm sure. All right. So
Anyway.
Mr. Chestnut, what's his bit? What's his deal?
Okay, so apparently he has some kind of an agreement, or he's doing stuff for Impossible Foods, which they make fake meat, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you mean plant-based meat,
Yeah, fake meat.
which is like saying concrete-based asphalt? Whatever. Whatever. I don't care. Yes. Okay. So fake meat.
So he came out and said that MLE, which is Major League Eating, which I find amusing, right? Major League Eating.
There are so many good nuggets out of the story. Things I
Nope,
didn't
but are they
know.
plant-based nuggets or chicken nuggets?
Oh, I'm sure they're plant-based.
Because if they're plant-based, then they're not really nuggets.
I'm sure they were ethically raised, ethically harvested plants. I don't know.
Gosh, there's so many places
I know.
I'm
Okay,
stopping
so-
myself. Anyway, he came out and said that the MLE told him that he could not participate in the event anymore because he had an agreement with Impossible Foods. Right?
Oh,
That's what he said.
okay. So he said this,
Right.
but what did Major League Eating say? By the way, is Joey Chestnut the logo for Major League Eating?
He should be.
He should be.
16-time champion. The
He
guy
should-
can eat a lot of hot dogs.
How do you do the logo? Like black and white with a guy shoving hot dogs in his? I don't know.
Or is it the
whatever.
after logo? I don't know. So anyway,
Wow,
throwing
okay.
up logo.
Oof.
But anyway, so MLE came out and said, "Hey, this was his decision, not ours. He can participate. He chose not to."
Oh, interesting.
Right? And then he came out and said, "No, they told me I couldn't be in it. And by the way, I'll be around again soon. Stay hungry." That's what he says, right? And then right after that, they announced that Netflix is announcing a new hot dog eating competition that will feature Joey Chestnut and his fiercest rival, Takuru Kobayashi. This is going to happen after the July
Doesn't
event.
Kobayashi, doesn't he play for the Dodgers?
Yes, he does.
Isn't he a pitcher?
Yes.
I don't even know.
He-
Okay.
He handles the
Okay.
pitches. But anyway,
So hang on. So what
Go
you're
ahead.
saying is that Joey Chestnut, he faked the whole incident to draw attention to his Netflix show that's coming up.
it sounds like it. When you look at it, when you look deeper inside this, it looks like he's doing a PR move to try to really push this event that's going to be on Netflix between him and Kobayashi. That's going to happen, I think, in late July, early August, somewhere around there after the eating event. So there's some play that who knows what's going on behind closed doors. You know, there's all money around this stuff and everything.
There's big money in Major League Eating.
But the quote of the whole thing, this is great. So Impossible Foods comes out with a statement.
oh boy.
This is a good statement. And they said meat eaters shouldn't have to be exclusive to just one wiener. And I thought that was impressive. So good for you, Impossible Foods. That's
Okay,
just
well,
funny.
Well played.
Yeah, they played that
well
well. But anyway,
played.
so we'll see what happens. My gut says he's going to probably participate in the July 4th event. He's too big of a deal there. They want him there. The fans want him there. They go nuts for the guy. He's got 16 in a row. It's gotten a little boring lately because nobody can get close to him. It's just kind of stupid how good he is at this. I guess if you can be good at eating hot dogs, I mean, he's really good at it. So anyway,
There's so many angles we can take. With
There
that.
is, and we probably just let it go.
We're just walking away. Let's move on to the NFL, shall we?
We need to talk about the NFL.
Yeah.
Man, it's getting close too.
It is. I decided to wear my Marshawn Lynch jersey from the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, you're wrong. Though I can let you wear I have a Super Bowl one when they won the Super Bowl from the Seahawks. You want to wear that one?
I'll wear it. It has my last name on the back. I'll wear it. I don't care.
It's the only.
So I heard. I mean, the one thing that because I was in Minnesota last week, obviously.
So this matches perfectly because you're in Minnesota.
The big story.
Well, not really a
is
big
that-
story, but
well,
more of a
I wouldn't say it's a big story. I think it's kind of a little shocking that Sam Darnold. Well, not Sam Darnold. I mean, I think everybody assumed he was going to be the starter. I don't know why people thought that J.J. McCarthy was game ready from day one. I don't know a rookie who is. I mean, obviously, you think Caleb Williams is.
I don't think he's. Well, I mean, I think he'll start. He's going to go through his bumps and bruises, but I think he's the most game ready guy we have out there. Maybe Jaden Daniels. We'll see.
Yep. So So Kevin O'Connell, the good-looking and tall and smart and wonderful former Rams coach, who's now the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
He selected Sam Darnold. He said based on the workouts and based on what he's seen, he's going number one. And J.J. McCarthy, I think, is third string.
I didn't hear that. Is he really? Who's number two?
Well, I think they said that. I'm scanning the
I
story.
don't even
real
know who else
fast.
they have on there.
They have Nick Mullins, who was the starter after the Pastronaut experiment failed. After Josh Dobbs learned the playbook,
Nice.
and then couldn't do anything. So Nick Mullins and then Jaron Hall is the other quarterback on the roster.
So all this to say Sam Darnold's the number one going. He's QB1 going into training camp.
QB1.
Now, whether or not he can keep QB1, I guess we'll see. Sam Darnold was a talented college quarterback.
Yes.
He's just been a disaster as a pro. I don't know what
Yes.
happened to him. It just hasn't transferred. Maybe he just wasn't that talented. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I think that the Vikings will probably have three different guys playing quarterback this year at some point.
I believe so.
Yeah, I can
None
see
of
that
them will
happening.
be the Pastronaut. I
Right.
can assure you.
I agree. So, moving on. Did you see that the Steelers on Monday they gave Mike Tomlin a 3-year extension?
Yes.
What do you think
I
about
did see that? Obviously, you may or may not be happy with what's going on. I don't think there are many coaches better than Tomlin.
I agree.
On multiple levels, whether
Agreed.
it's his X's and O's, whether it's his composure, how he treats players, his attitude, whatever. And like even let's say, for example, that you get a little disillusioned, right? The Steelers have gone through a rough patch recently, and you could say a number of things, but ultimately, who are you going to get that's better than Tomlin?
Nobody.
Right. That's why. So it's like
He's
the
better than most guys that have jobs.
The devil you know versus the
Right.
devil you don't know. Even if that was your only justification, it was worth it. So yeah, I think that's a good thing for the Steelers and the fans. As far as I know, I mean, unless someone tells me otherwise, the fans love him.
He's never had a losing season.
That's rare. Yeah, these days.
I mean, he's 8-10 in the postseason, which is okay. He's got a Super Bowl, but he's 173, 102 in his time with the Steelers, with some really questionable teams.
Yeah,
Talent-wise.
he is bubble gummed.
He gets the best out of them.
Baling wire and patch some teams together.
I think he's got a shot this year to do some damage if one of his quarterbacks actually steps up. If whether it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, if one of them steps up, they could be a very interesting team in the AFC this year
I think so.
with Tomlin. And then there was this fake news story that came out about him. I don't know if you saw that during the week. The story came out that said that he demanded that his players not be involved in Pride Month. They can't be involved in it. It was total fake news, right? It was absolutely.
Oh, somebody.
But someone tried to
trash.
someone tried to trash the guy by doing that. And if you know anything about Mike Tomlin, he's absolutely a Democrat supporter, and he's a little bit of an activist here and there. So it would be exact opposite of what he would be saying. But someone was trying to just
Why would
give him a
someone?
hard-
That's so.
Because
dumb.
they're stupid and they
Yeah,
just want to
exactly.
create news and get clicks.
That's what. Because we don't do that.
No, never.
We do not do anything. We don't pander to our audience whatsoever.
I don't.
Which,
No.
Which
You don't.
this is the month where all of these corporations
Yes.
are, and there's a lot of people that have been calling it out lately about corporations pandering to the LGBTQ, and I don't know, forgive me for not knowing all of the letters as part of it, but they're Pride Month, right?
Right.
Everybody changes their logos to rainbows or whatever, or
Right.
they do things to talk about it, and it's this virtue signaling. It's pandering, corporate
It's total
pandering,
pandering, yeah.
because these companies they feel the same way about that they'll feel about that in May.
Yeah.
They feel that way in June. They feel whatever way in July.
Right.
But because they're pandering to you, and that's the thing is people don't understand that these corporations are basically pandering. Like why is it so important for your company to change the logo to rainbow, right? Like to me, whatever you think of a company, right? If you think a company's bad, don't buy their stuff. If you think they're good, buy their stuff. It doesn't matter.
I think every company should use the Weekend Warriors logo.
Oh, I think so too.
They should
Absolutely.
pander to me.
I think so. So
Wait, stop right there. So here's
stopped.
Okay, so just listen to what I have to say here. Steelers, Browns, Bengals, Titans, Chiefs, Broncos, Cowboys, Packers, Saints, Falcons, and Lions all have what in common related to this conversation?
none of them are pandering to
That's correct.
the community for Pride Month.
They all chose not to tweet or acknowledge Pride Month whatsoever. Those 11 organizations. And they are getting ridiculed for doing that.
By whom?
By the left, by the woke, if you want to call them woke, whatever they are, by the progressive, by the minority, vocal majority that goes out on social media and tries to create issues. They're attacking these teams because they refuse to comply or conform. Because this is communist China and this is communist Russia, and we should do what everyone says.
Well, I think that's the point you get to is that, and the problem that I have with any movement like this is that they try to coerce or manipulate others to their form, right? It doesn't matter. And this, if you want to talk about political spectrum, it happens all across the board, right? But when you try to control personal moral behavior, when you do it through coercion or force or whatever, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah,
The
I agree.
fact is, if these teams want to acknowledge Pride Month, that's fine.
Absolutely.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
care. If they don't want to acknowledge
Then
Pride
don't.
Month, I don't care, right?
Well,
and if it means that much to me, then I will choose to spend my dollars elsewhere. That's the beauty of this,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The beauty of a free and voluntary market is that consumers make choices based on what's important or what's not, right?
Well, but here's the problem is those groups, and I'm not saying the LGBTQ group, I'm saying those groups that are out there attacking people, they don't want you to be able to think for yourself. They want you to do what they think is right. And so if you're a team or an organization or a corporation that's not doing what they want, then they're going to be all over you and try to bash on you. And that worked for a small period of time in this country around 2021. It started to work. But then you started to see a lot of the corporations that started pulling away from it, saying, no, we're going to start thinking for ourselves again. Some of them, not all of them.
Well,
but
yeah.
you're right. I mean, I should be allowed to believe and not believe what I want. You should be allowed to believe and not believe what you want mostly.
Thanks. Thanks for that. Well, no, I just
But,
think,
yeah.
I think it's a non-issue.
It's a non-issue.
And it really is. And anyone that makes it issue, it's like there's another agenda involved. So
Yeah, exactly. So there's more NFL I want to get into, and we can do it after the break. I really want to talk about the Trevor Lawrence extension, and I want to see get your feel for that and the kind of money this guy's making now.
a lot.
He's going to have a lot of shampoo.
That's right. A lot of conditioner.
So we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. This is the Weekend Warriors on 1580, The Fanatic. The Weekend Warriors on 1580 The Fanatic. Now this song's
a banger.
This is a banger.
Playing the spin of the stacks of wax here at WXYZ New York. Ralph Romano, Mike. We got a little aha with Take On Me. Anyway, sorry, because this is not my vocal range. If I would if I could.
That's
listen,
right. It's right. You are a big karaoke guy.
I sing karaoke, and
we're going to talk about that one day.
That's perfectly fine.
I need to go see that because I like train wrecks.
You'll be disappointed because I usually don't train wreck.
If you come out in a studded jacket and start doing Neil Diamond, I'm out.
Love on the rocks.
Out.
No big surprise.
All right.
Pour me a drink.
So I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence, Mr. Diamond.
Oh, you want to talk about Mr. Beautiful Flowing Hair?
Yeah. So
who has better hair, Trevor Lawrence or Troy Polamalu?
Polamalu.
Oh yeah, easily.
By
okay.
far.
Anyway,
It's not
sorry. I
even
don't know
close.
why I even brought it up.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not even close.
What about Trevor Lawrence?
5-year,
extension?
$275 million extension.
Okay.
Here's the kicker. So $55 million a year. Right?
That's
So
a lot of money.
is he worth that kind of money?
Is it guaranteed? Is it all guaranteed?
No. So $200 million of it's guaranteed, which is that's quite
still
a bit.
a lot. Oh, that's nothing. He's got to feed his family.
I mean, he needs
more than
Joe
200
Burrow
million.
makes $55 million. Goff was making $53 million. Herbert makes $52.5. Lamar Jackson $52, and Hurts $51. Trevor Lawrence $55 million a year. When you look at his numbers, you're like, really? Like last year, I know he was hurt part of the year, but his numbers definitely obviously declined. The team finished 9-8. There were 8-8 in starts where he was the guy throwing. Now, to be fair, he played injured a little bit last year,
Yes,
even when
he
he was
did.
playing. But man, that's a lot of money. You must really believe in this guy.
Yeah, he was injured a lot last year. He had some split ends that were really causing him problems. So,
Oh my gosh, I could see him sitting on the sideline with his lady behind him cutting his
well
hair.
now he can buy all the conditioner he wants. He can buy the good stuff.
Well, I read this morning that his wife was really proud of him.
I'll bet.
I was like, yeah, I bet you're proud of $55 million a year. You're sitting there thinking, what are you buying next?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about your husband having better hair than you? Is what I want to know.
I think for $55 million should be like,
He's
I don't
okay with
care.
it?
I'm good with that.
All right,
I would be good with that.
don't know. But is he worth it? Do you think he's worth it?
You know, I think the jury's still out. I mean, I think his intangibles are what keeps him around, right? I mean, obviously he's an above average quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
by any measure, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not an argument. Of course, the question is, can he get him? You know, he's got to have a deep playoff run the next couple years.
Yeah.
maybe get his team into the conference championship. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think there's still we have a couple years left to decide if he's worth it. But anticipating that he probably is, obviously they're betting on him.
I mean, the problem is
So-
when you give this guy that kind of money, it limits what you can really do with the rest of your team.
Well, of course.
Right, and that's what makes it tough. So you better believe in this guy that he can really move his team by, for the most part, on his own.
Yeah, and if he cares as much as we think he might, then he'll be willing to restructure if it's required.
Yeah, I mean,
down the road.
I guess we'll see, right?
We'll
But
see.
I was kind of shocked by that number. That's a big number.
Well, I mean, who else is he going to get? Caleb Williams?
No, I mean, it's not about getting somebody else, but you paid him with the top guys in the league. Is he a top tier guy in the league? Is he a Mahomes?
Well, let's find out. I think this year we'll decide. Okay. I think so. But something else interesting in the world of football that I wanted to touch on is, and this is kind of into the sports business side.
Okay.
And I just thought this was hilarious. So as you all know, Netflix is going to be airing a couple of games this season. They're going to be airing.
I hate that.
I know they're going to air a game on Christmas Day, I think, and then they have a couple more. So here's the funny part: is that Netflix went out and spent all this money to acquire the rights to one or two, I forget, games this season.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the capability of producing a broadcast. They don't have the resources in house. So. Like and
that's
I'm
interesting.
sure they thought of it. They're like, well, gee, we're going to buy the rights, So they've been in talks with ESPN, NBC, CBS about partnering with them in order to broadcast the games. Because right now you have the rights to do it, but they don't have any production
But they don't have a
capabilities.
platform to do it.
They don't have any broadcast. They don't have any talent. They don't have cameras. They don't have a production facilities. They don't have a technical director.
You think they would have
got
thought
none of that.
about that before?
Well, that's weird though, because Amazon, when they got their deal, They were smart. They got that figured out as part of the deal.
Right.
They partner with, I think it's NBC,
Right.
to do their game. So now, but here's the thing though. Imagine if you're one of these other organizations. Imagine you're ESPN or CBS or NBC. You're competing with Netflix.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
What's the motivation unless they throw so much money at you? What's to say they're just going to be like, nah, you guys figured it out yourself?
What happens if it happens?
Because then you know what it would look like? It would look like Apple TV's Friday Night Baseball. That is the absolute worst
Yes.
professional sports broadcast I have seen in my life. And I want to like it because I like the little stats they have, like, on base probability, 13%. And then he gets a strike and it's now 10%. He gets a ball and it's like the real time stats are cool, but some of the most cringe-worthy comments I've heard is from those whoever they have doing the play-by-play. It's like they grabbed a bunch of millennials off the street and said, "Hey, want to do some baseball? Oh, that's cool. Let's do that." No, and then let's find some like third-tier, relatively unknown professional player and have him come in and give his opinion. Like, now, again, I apologize. I know there's been a couple on there. They've had different ones. And some of them are decent, right? Like, if they were on any other network, they'd be fine. But the problem is they get on the show and they realize they're working with complete morons, and then they have to compensate for their lack of whatever.
Right.
So anyway, this could be. I mean, hopefully they partner with somebody smart, but it's like, seriously.
That's a
you
tough
know
one.
what? Okay, so I'm going to throw this out there.
Go ahead.
I'm going to throw this out there to Netflix. Netflix, if you're listening right now, Ralph Romano and I will gladly be your broadcasters for your football game.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. So
Because everyone would turn it off.
I'll be the play-by-play guy.
Yeah, I want to be the color guy.
You can be the color guy.
I just want to throw comments out there.
Yeah. I'll
Because
be
you just say, hey, look at that guy. What an idiot. I would say stuff like that.
It's like would it be like Rodgers drops in the pocket and he throws to Travis Kelce. I'm making stuff up.
Wow,
here.
yeah, you are.
It's like an all-star team, right? Like, yeah, like Sam Darnold goes fall in the back. He throws to Justin Jefferson and it's incomplete. And then Ralph's just like, that guy stinks.
I could have done that.
That'd be great. It was kind of like, you know, if we did the show, if we were the broadcasters,
man.
it would be like Barstool Sports when they had the Arizona Bowl. Did you ever watch the Arizona Bowl? I know Snoop Dogg owns it now and does his own thing.
No, I did not.
But the Arizona Bowl, watching Dave Portnoy and Big Cat do the play-by-play or the commentary was some of the funniest stuff ever.
Yeah.
That's why I watched it. Amy and I talked about going down to Tucson to watch the game, and our first thought was, well, we don't want to do that because we don't want to miss out on the broadcast with Portnoy and Big Cat.
Wow.
Like those guys made it. Anyway, so I'm just throwing it out there. Netflix, if I know you've got a lot of stuff to worry about, you got to figure out all of the production stuff. But if you need broadcasters
We're your
for
guys.
the show, like, I'll listen. You can even get some NFL guy in there, and I'll go on the sidelines and be that.
Oh, I can see you as a sideline reporter.
Well, Bob, I just heard that that Joe Burrow has an ingrown toenail. He's got to get fixed on the sideline.
Wow, look, Neil, he's down. Someone just clocked him.
That's
oh, my
right.
gosh.
That's right.
What did you say to him, Neil?
Well, I'm looking in the stands and I see Cameron Diaz out there, and I had a thing for her in the '80s, but I'm gonna do that. That'd be fun.
Maybe they should partner with the NFL Network. I don't know.
At this point, they may not have a choice.
I had heard. Wasn't going to talk about this, but I had heard that last year, the NFL Sunday ticket rights, they tried to. What was it? ESPN tried to make it to where it would be, or somebody was $70. Was it $70 a season? And the NFL said no.
The NFL. Yeah,
they said nope. Our product is too good for that. It's too cheap. We need to charge more than that. We need to charge 5 times that.
Yeah, the NFL
Wow.
the NFL basically is the ones that are preventing you from watching just your team.
Yeah, they don't want that.
They don't want that because it means that they can't make a ton of money off of you.
They got a lot of power.
They do. The NFL.
That's a powerful
that's sneaky.
organization.
That's like a shadow government.
It kind of is if you really think about it.
Unless you're playing football in Brazil.
Oh, the whole green thing?
Because apparently
Yeah.
the play. Well, I don't know all the details, but I heard that
talked
the
about it
place
before.
the place they're playing doesn't. They don't want to have green because it's the opposing their arch rivals' colors.
Right.
And so in the NFL's infinite wisdom, they sent out 2 teams whose primary color is green.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Imagine. I fear for all the fans in the stands. Let's say you're some American, like, I'm going to go to Brazil to watch the Packers, and you bring your Packer gear down, and you get green, and you get jumped and killed by the rival gang because you're wearing the other team's colors. Like, that's just super primitive. I don't know, man. I don't know. The whole experiment, the whole international expansion. Haven't we done this before? We
Yeah,
tried this.
it doesn't work.
It was called NFL Europe, if I
And
recall.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the MLB is trying it too, and it pisses me off. I wish they'd stop. We just had the Phillies. I think it was the Phillies and the Mets.
Mets,
they were
in
playing
London.
in London.
Yeah.
Come on. Who cares? Why?
Oh, my favorite though
Why?
is listening to the British commentators. Crikey! Hits him right in the bullocks
Crikey.
with the ball. Oh, that's us. That's
Australian.
Australian. See, I'm all confused.
Right.
Bullocks.
Crikey, you lost me.
Crikey, that's Australian. But Australians are actually good baseball players, though. So that's where they.
Okay.
Yeah, they're better than
They're-
England.
Well, yeah, England's just getting around to baseball right now. They just started doing it about 5 years ago, where it's really starting to get a little popularity.
Yeah, they're
Australian
just-
Baseball League has their professional league down there that's actually decent.
Yeah,
It's not great, but it's decent. I know some guys that have played down there. So
personally.
yeah, I personally know some guys that have played down
Oh, cool.
there. So
Okay.
let's stay with the MLB. So enough with the NFL. We know that the almighty God, the NFL, we know what they are. But and it's getting close. I mean, it's getting to fun time here soon. We'll start getting into camps and stuff, and we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm looking forward to that.
We didn't even bring up Aaron Rodgers.
I don't even
missing
want
the
to talk
Jets,
about
man.
it.
That-
but that was a personal thing. So
I'm super proud of us for not doing that.
Yeah,
So. Anyway, MLB.
So did you? I know you were gone, but did you actually get a chance to watch the Yankees Dodgers?
I got to watch a little bit of it, not as much as I wanted to.
Dude, that's a heavyweight bout.
That was crazy.
Those are the two. I don't care. I mean, I'll give props to the Phillies and I'll give props to even the Mariners who are playing well. But the Dodgers Yankees, that's the two heavyweights in the MLB right now.
Right.
That was a fantastic 3-game series. It really was. Dodgers won 2 out of 3. They should have swept them, but they didn't. The Yankees are a really good matchup for the Dodgers. They just are. The Dodgers. I hope we play them in the world. I hope we get to the World Series number 1, and then I hope we get to play them in the World Series. I think they're just a really good matchup for us. I think we would dominate them in that matchup. But that game Saturday night had 2.9 million viewers, which is the most since 22 of any MLB game.
What was Caitlin Clark in the stands? Is
She
that
was.
there's so many people there?
Right. Dude, people are they want to see old time stuff. They want to see Lakers, Celtics. They want to see
Yeah.
Dodgers, Yankees. And
That's
when,
true.
When the Dodgers and Yankees are both really good, the MLB is better for it, right? And right now, in my opinion, they're the two best teams in baseball. Again, sorry Phillies, sorry Mariners. I just think those two are the best.
Sorry, Diamondbacks.
Sorry, well Diamondbacks. Let's talk. You were mentioning to me something about Corbin Carroll.
So Corbin Carroll, until recently, has admittedly himself been in a slump, right?
Right.
So he's had some struggles. It seems like this last series, he's kind of come out of it. But honestly, he's been struggling. I guess you could call this the sophomore slump. But I feel like here's the thing is I wish I understood. You know, I've been to several Diamondbacks games. I feel like I'm a casual follower of the team.
Sure.
I'm not a fan per se.
Right.
But I do, I want them to be successful because it's more to talk about, right?
Right.
But I just feel like he's had a slump. I mean, he started off at the bottom of the batting order. Like he was near the bottom
He was
for
batting
a while.
$190.
And he's moved up. I think this last series he's finally dialed in. Whatever his problems are, they figured him out. But the team is, Zach Gallen, how when does he come back from his injury?
Well, he's throwing a bullpen. I think yesterday or today, just to
Okay.
kind of he's not ready yet, but he's probably a few weeks away.
Yeah, but I think that he's when Gallen's going and when Corbin Carroll and obviously the leaders like Christian Walker on the team, they're they could be decent. They could make another decent run.
So-
I mean, who else is going to other than the Dodgers? Who else is going to challenge them in the NL West?
Well, the Padres can challenge him.
The Padres,
The Giants can challenge him.
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of teams that could challenge him.
Uh,
When you mentioned Corbin Carroll, I kind of looked into it and go, "What's different?" Because it's been about 6 games, and so here's a couple. Being the coach guy that I am, and I look at these things, this is what I'm going to tell you what's going on.
all right,
I've got the answers for you.
all right. I'm ready.
Are you ready? Can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
Here's the truth.
Well, we could do like The Rock. It's like, what's your name?
So what he's doing at the plate, it's interesting, right? He's now swinging 37.4% of the time. This is how detailed I am. He was swinging 44% of the time. So he's cut down his swings, all right? Which means he's being more selective. 22.6% of his stuff is outside the strike zone. It was 28. So he was swinging at 28% of pitches outside of the strike zone in the first 60 games. He's now cut that back to 22. That's a big difference. It sounds like a small number, but it's a big difference. And now he's making contact 85% of the time, which he was only making about 80% of the time before. So the little tweaks, he's getting more particular watching pitches. He's not going chasing stuff outside of the strike zone, right? And he's making better contact because of it, because he's not swinging at stuff that he can't get to.
Right.
And instantly, what did you see? 6 games in a row, pretty solid performance. It's the little things in baseball, right? That's what I love about the sport. But those are the changes that Corbin Carroll has made, and all of a sudden now, if he can keep this going, he could have a great second half of the season.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
I think he's poised for that.
But those are the little things that make a big difference in baseball. And staying with the D-backs, so Nick Ahmed, he played with them last year. He played with them for a while. He got cut or let go in September. And the Diamondbacks, I guess, they felt bad about it. They offered him they gave out. I hate to even say this, but they gave out National League championship rings to their players, so they felt like they did something good last year.
Rings?
Yeah, you can get
for winning the division.
No, for winning the league, the National League. Which there's teams that have done that in the past. I mean, I think the Dodgers did it one year. But anyway,
it's not a good look, man. I don't like it. I'm with you.
It's not a good look, and they offered him the ring, and he's like, "Yeah, no thanks." He turned him down. He didn't want it. They were going to have this big ceremony and stuff for him, and he's like, "Yeah." He's on the Giants now. He's like, "I'm good." He goes, "You don't need to do that, and I really don't want a ring."
That's
good for you, Nick Ahmed.
That's hardcore. Yeah, I think the whole notion is just silly. Like, I get it. We want to celebrate stuff, but to me, the ring is uniquely about winning the whole thing.
Right.
Right. So like when I was coaching softball, there was these tournaments that would happen, and some of the tournaments, obviously you get the medals, right? The Olympic medals, and those things are just cheesy. And if you play enough, you've got like 50 of them that you end up throwing away at some point.
Right.
But a lot of them started doing rings, which I know was more prominent in baseball, but in softball they started doing rings. And I swear these girls wanted to play in the tournaments where they had rings,
of course,
because of the ring. Right now, they didn't want a ring if they got second place. They didn't want a ring for third. But the ring was about winning the whole thing.
Yeah,
and I get it. You want to celebrate your success. Okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't celebrate success
should celebrate it
at any level. I just think that the trophy, the talisman, whatever you have, should be appropriate to the level of accomplishment.
Agreed.
Right?
In-season tournament championship. That's all I'm going to say.
It's like an in-season or this is like, it reminds me of the movie Glengarry Glen Ross. What's the first prize? Cadillac Eldorado, fully loaded. Second prize, set of steak knives. Third prize, you're fired. So that's what I think. It should be appropriate to that.
Okay, so I know we're running out of time because this hour goes by so fast.
I know.
But there's a topic that I want to touch real quick.
What
that
is that?
I know nothing about.
Okay, what is
which
that?
is rare.
Women?
Women.
I got you speechless, didn't I? Okay, it's either women or cricket. I don't know which one.
Or it might be crickets with women. I don't know. So
I
want to talk about USA cricket. I never thought I would ever talk about this, but we did say when we started this show we would talk about some obscure things.
Yes,
right.
And I've been the one talking about obscure things all the time.
I talk about the cheese roll thing.
Now you're talking. Yeah, that's true.
Don't forget that. Which they just had their annual. They got a new champion.
We're going to cover that next week.
I love that thing. I saw the video. It was amazing. Anyway,
so what about cricket?
So there's this big World Cup that happens every few years, just like soccer, I guess. It's called the T20 Men's World Cup, ICC. And part of it was actually hosted in the U.S. this year. It was in Dallas, I believe.
Okay.
So the U.S. made the tournament because they're a host.
They're the host, yeah.
That's the only reason they made it.
They didn't qualify
right,
for it
they've
on
never
their merits.
qualified ever, but they made it because they're a host, right?
So
cool.
we got a pity berth.
They're actually ranked 17th in the world. They beat number 6 Pakistan in group play, and they actually have moved into this it's called the Super 8 round. They actually have made it past the first round, and which is history for USA. And they're playing now. They're going to play South Africa out in the West Indies somewhere in the Super 8 round.
Well, where can we watch this?
I have no idea.
We have to get like a giant, like a 16-foot satellite dish.
I don't know.
Like your dad had in the 80s to watch horse racing.
you know about that.
Oh, listen, I knew a lot of people that were like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. So after this, we're going to be doing our post-game show, and they're not live yet, but they will be live maybe in the next couple of weeks. But we'll post it up later today.
That's right.
Watch the post-game show, and we'll touch into this and a couple more things that we didn't get to today.
That's right. Follow us on all the social media channels. You know what they all are. But let's keep the conversation going.
We'll see you next week. This is the Weekend Warriors on 1580, The Fanatic. Yeah. Fanatic.